In today's crafting experiment, I had a bunny who was in really good condition and brought in his not so great looking sibling. And his sibling presented a case of stretched out skin, open wounds, lacerations, and some internal bleeding. He was in pretty rough shape. Then I had a little teddy bear with a weak heart and some partial beheading. What both of these patients had in common is that they were both crinkle toys. And crinkle toys are something that my dogs seem to love, but they're hard to find and they're also super expensive. That first bunny that you saw that was looking healthy was actually about $14, and they rarely do any specials at PetSmart for it. So just to try and salvage as much as possible the good quality of these bunnies, because even the one that came in injured, he'd been with us for years and he got beat up a lot, and the fact that he's still here with us is a test of quality. So can't complain about that, but I do like to save money, so I went ahead and got cellophane paper from the Dollar Tree and then started trying to fix the bunny that was super injured. First up, I knew I needed to fix the skin that was stretched out. So I grabbed my little baggie of scrap fabrics and found a piece of ribbon that basically covered the majority of the skin area that was messed up. And I started sewing from the corner so it would be nice and secure. Then I just kept sewing, just hand stitching from side to side all the way around. My dog, he really connects with certain toys, and this is just one of them. He actually responds to "Where's your bunny?" So I really wanted to get this done for him. Now for the stitching of the ribbon section, I ended up taking it all the way to the edge where that open wound was, with that very big hole by the bunny's head. And then I sewed as much as possible. So you'll notice when I do my stitches, I have about a 1/4 inch on either side. So I have a 1/4 inch on the ribbon side and then about a 1/4 inch of the good fabric, of the good skin of the bunny when I'm sewing. Because if I try to sewing in those areas where the fabric is already stretched out, what ends up happening is that it makes it easier for it to rip again. And we want this bunny to be as healthy as possible for as long as possible. To sew some of the sections, I did have to take out some extra stuffing, like the legs and, well, the feet, just to make it easier to sew. It helps keep control as much as you can for the bunny to be as stuffless as possible. After his skin was fixed up, then I started adding back in the leg stuffing, which was the hardest. Try and get a little bit first. So just get like the tip in and then smoosh it around, because that's going to help us spread and then push the rest. Then after I got into just adding the crinkle, I did cut a lot of crinkle on the plushie because I wanted it to be crinkly. And although it is great that I was able to get this cellophane paper at the Dollar Tree, the quality is not as thick. So if you're able to find something really thick that makes that crunchy sound, maybe even some of the packaging that things come in with, like when you order from Amazon or buy something in the store, sometimes they make a lot of noise. So if you're able to repurpose one of those things, I would really recommend you doing that, which again also saves money. So it's a win-win either way. Then for actually closing the bunny, I grabbed as much as possible of the good skin from side to side, because that's going to give me the best chances of my dog's not ripping its shreds immediately. Because this plushie has all of that hair and that fluff, then it helps conceal all of the sewing that I had going on. I was originally going to sew this in black because the bunny is brown, but instead I opted for the white because the skin was already white. Just try to match it as much as possible to what's already there, because it will give the best chance at having good quality look. With any of the remaining thread, what I did every time I was sewing is that I just went back through the area that I'd gone before. It doesn't hurt to reinforce it and then just use as much as possible. Either way, whatever is left over is not good enough for any other project. My bunny fixing was a complete success. They both look almost identical, which was perfect. Now, my other patient was brought in because of my dog Keela. She is the best tugger. She will not give up. This little bear was actually something I got at the Dollar Tree while I was able to save up a little to go to PetSmart to buy some better quality Crinkle toys. But because they enjoyed this bear so much, I ended up wanting to do a little experiment on it. So when I go to stores, I tend to try to just see what's out there and what can I do to replicate it. Again, just try and stay as budget friendly and as cheap as possible. So I noticed a few of them felt like they had almost an entire water bottle inside of them. So I figured with this Dollar Tree plushie, I would cut a piece of a water bottle and plop it inside. Now, because I wanted to make this a little extra crinkly as well, I used one of the jewelry packaging and I put the squeaker inside of it, so it'd be like extra motivation to get the plushie. I already know this poor bear is going to end up in my hands fairly soon. So what I was really trying to do was decide, how do I sew this to make it the hardest for her to split open? And I figured starting with the head connection first would help ensure that I wasn't rushing through the stitches. So I was still grabbing that 1/4 inch on side to side and then putting it together. So I'm trying to grab as much of the fabric as possible so that it's not just a straight stitch going up and down, but it's also crossing side to side, and then it's going to go back to sew through the middle. And I have another video where I also did some experiments on other plushies, just adding a squeaker and stuff, and this has just been the most effective way of ensuring that I'm not constantly sewing these plushies around and they can withstand all of the puppy fun. Then for the little sections that had nothing to do with my experiment, I still wanted to fix them up because these were teeth marks, so it was just important for them to get sealed up. And then I just did some side to side stitching and then some vertical stitching, so then they would kind of all clump together. And just as a reminder, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe if you love just exploring different crafting things and pets and home decor and things that are girly and cute and just that bring happiness, because that's really all that my mom and I want to craft and do. So we'd love to have you along. In the end, I was excited to give it to my puppies, so I tried doing it right after I finished, which was right around their snack time for Bones. So my boy was not interested in the bunnies or the teddy bear, but it's okay. Now eventually they will play with it and enjoy. And if you have any stories about different things that you've tried to experiment with for dog toys, please comment below so we can all try and help our puppies have more fun. Don't forget to subscribe if you love some cute and budget-friendly DIYs.